Hey, I have to share a testimony with you guys real quick. Just a little while ago, something I've been doing when there's dead time, and of course the barometer's been going crazy, so I've been miserable for a couple of weeks now. And so what I've been doing is I'll be online studying, I'll be looking up stuff, or I'll be playing a little bit of Minecraft or something, just to kill time, take my mind off pain, and I'll turn my um, Christian sermons on, listen to Alistair Begg, John Barnett, John MacArthur, a couple other guys, Calvary Chapel Hill, J.D. Farrar, and I'll listen while I'm doing that stuff. And because when I was doing that stuff, even though my family was listening, it didn't seem like it was having any kind of real effect. So I was letting them listen to that stuff while I was doing that because we didn't have no TV on. Everybody was just doing their own thing. My wife came up to me about 20 minutes ago and she kissed me on the head and she said, "Thank you for playing those out loud." She goes, "I like listening to that." She goes, "You always had your earbuds in before, or you were in the other room and I couldn't hear it." She goes, "But I like listening to that." Guys, this is an example of godly living. Living by example. This is an example of how you can break down strongholds merely by the life you live and letting others see you live it. It doesn't have to be something that's perfect, like beams of light are coming down out of the sky to hit you and everything you wear is stark white. It doesn't have to be that kind of lifestyle. It's what your focus is on every day. It will affect the people around you. It will affect the people who are close to you. If you can't get them with your words, if you're being mocked and scoffed at by your family, and I know many of you are, you've told me this, live the life. Go to the Word, study the Word. Let them see you read the Bible. Let them hear you listen. When there's nothing else going on and you're just chilling somewhere, listen and let it play out loud. And let them hear it. Because if they don't believe you, they may believe someone else. But they'll only do it if you're listening to it. Because deep down they trust you. So if you're listening to it, it'll catch their ear. And you never know that one act you do in a godly manner, that one thing you listen to that's teaching these things. I've been listening to sermons about apostasy, sermons about not being close to God, sermons about living the wrong way, sermons about anything you could think of involving the Christian life. And it is having an effect on the people around me directly. Because when they come through the house, they stop and they listen. How you live matters. How you live makes a difference. Hold on just a second, guys. Okay, so I don't want to say anything with my wife in the next outside the door. So the way you live, because I don't want to put her on the spot. I'm making progress, and I'm glad to. And I know she believes, but I still think maybe she's standing really close to the threshold. But I'm not 100% sure which side of the threshold she's on. So I'm doing my husbandly duty and my godly duty as a Christian of preaching and living the example to others. The way you live makes a difference. And if you can't get people to listen to your words, then you live according to the way you know you're supposed to live. Don't worry about their lifestyle and what they're doing and their relationship with God. Worry about yours and let them see it. Because sometimes people need to see the example. The old saying applies. You may be the only Bible anybody ever reads. And they may have to see you living it in order to believe it. They need to see the manifestation of the change within you. They need to hear you singing, see you. Even though you're miserable, even though you're depressed, but see you have that joy. See you be on fire for the Lord. Matthew 5:16 says, "In the same way, let your light shine before others, so that they may see your good works and give glory to your Father who is in heaven." Notice he says they'll see what you're doing, but they're going to glorify God. They're going to go to God because they see the change in you. They see the difference in you. They see the evidence of your salvation. There must be evidence of salvation. I know people don't like to hear that, but too bad. That's the facts. That's what the Bible says. There will be manifestations in your life and in you of the conversion that has happened within you. If there are none, you have a problem. The life we live matters. It makes a difference. That's why it's harped on in the Bible, especially the New Testament. 1 Peter 2:21, for to this you have been called, because Christ also suffered for you, leaving you an example so that you might follow in his steps. Let me say that again. Listen closely. This applies to each one of us. For this you have been called, because Christ also suffered for you, leaving you an example so that you might follow in his steps. Let them see you deny yourself. Let them see you turn down that fast food. I don't really want a Whataburger today. Let them see you change and do the right thing and watch what happens afterwards. In your suffering, people see God. But it's only if you're living that way. It's only if you're living for him in that suffering. Our suffering has a purpose, I've told you guys. It may not be something that's going to deal with us. It may be something that others need to see. And it will change them, because in your suffering, if you're still glorifying God, if you're still going on, if the others can see God strengthening you when you shouldn't be there, it's going to have an effect on them. Romans 13:13, let us walk properly, as in the daytime, not in orgies and drunkenness, not in sexual immorality and sensuality, not in quarreling and jealousy. Paul is saying, avoid those things. Get away from those things. Don't live that life. You may have to live within those things. You may be surrounded by that, but you don't have to partake in it. Be ye separate. Philippians 4:9, what you have learned and received and heard and seen in me, practice these things, and the God of peace will be with you. It's super, super, super simple. And yet people fight against this so badly. Oh, there's no evidence of salvation. And I tell every one of them that ever said that to me, well, if you believe that and you don't see any evidence in your life, then you're probably not saved. And then they always tell me, they always respond back with attacks. I can't believe you said that to me. I didn't. The Bible did. Here's the scripture that proves it. The whole idea behind you living a godly life isn't for your salvation. It's to inspire others to get saved. It's so they see God manifesting in you. If they can't see God manifesting in nature and creation, they will certainly see it in you. Especially when they say, hey, we're all going to go party. We're all going down to the river to party. You want to come? I'm going to skip it this time, guys. Oh, come on. Nah, it's not my scene. Okay. And when they get back, don't chide them for it. Don't admonish them for it. How'd it go? Did you guys have fun? Let them see it. Because everybody desires what a Christian has. Everybody desires that relationship with God. Now, they may not realize it, but everyone desires it. They desire that peace. They desire that love. They desire that connection. But in this day and age especially, there's no one to tell them about it. There's no one to explain it to them in detail, to bring it into real life circumstances so they can relate to it. And that's a rare skill among people. Most people are great at reading the Bible, but they're not great at breaking it down and simplifying it, making it relatable to real life terms and circumstances. This is one of the things I'm so thankful that God gave me, was to take it and make it real life. Because then it's easier to understand how it applies. Because in a lot of cases it doesn't. Or we don't see it until you can make it relatable. One of the ways we do that is how we live. One of the ways we do that is by showing the strength of God manifesting in us. And we may not even realize how we do it. But if we live that life that he has called us to live, if we focus on looking inward, what am I doing? Where am I at? I'm going to make sure that I'm walking circumspectly with God's will. Just you doing that one thing can change the attitude of everyone around you. You walking in integrity will cause people to see you as the only person they can trust. Be the Christian they've never met before. I can't tell you that it's been at least a dozen times that I've had people tell me, I've never heard a Christian say that before. That's because you've never met a real Christian before. I've never met anybody like you before. That's because you never met a real Christian before. There's a difference between a believer and a true believer. The Bible talks about this. It gives several examples of this. There's a difference between somebody who actually looks to God, who believes God, who trusts God, who just rests in Him and waits on Him. And when He calls, acts. We can't be perfect. We're not called to be perfect. He's the one who will make us perfect. That day is coming. But until we get there, we are to be the examples, the emissaries of God. You weren't saved to sit in an easy chair and do nothing. You were saved to do something. You were saved for good works. Now, your challenge is to go identify what those good works are, and they are contained within the Bible. It's going to require you to read. It's going to require you to look. It's going to require you to pray. And in the act of doing that, when He, awakens in you those desires to serve Him that way here, other people, without you even realizing it, will see it happen. And then what happened to me just 30 minutes ago will happen to you. Somebody around you will say, I really enjoy you listening to those out loud because I get to listen to them. I like that. They may not have the gumption to do it themselves, but if you are doing it around them, it changes the dynamic. It changes the very air around everybody. Be that Christian that no one's ever seen. Be that Christian no one's ever met. Walk in love, like the Bible tells us to do, and walk in faith. And let the world see you that way. And you will change hearts merely by how you live. This, what I just told you, is a perfect example of it. And many of you have already seen it happen in your lives. Keep doing what you're doing. Keep walking with the Lord. Don't give up. Again, you may be the only Bible somebody ever reads. You may be the only true Christian someone ever sees or meets. And if they won't hear your words, they can't help but see how you live. Show them. Show them by your actions. Let your faith manifest in your everyday life. And watch the world around you change. Watch people look at you with reverence. Watch people with authority, look at you with respect because of who you are. Humble, contrite, faithful. I love you guys, and I'll see you in the next one.